people have said to me, oh, it's going to happen anyway. But it won't happen if you want to stop it. And that's why I'm a bit disappointed we didn't have more people here. We've got to stop the planning process, as well as the building. I know there's a slump in the building trade, but don't remember, if planning goes ahead, any time in the future they can build these houses. We want homes for local people. We don't want 11,100 homes in Camborne. So I would like to ask some of our political leaders how they would actually deal with this problem if they were in power. We haven't got the Lib Dem. Unfortunately, Julia's sister is getting married today, so she couldn't be here. But we've got George, and George is going to say a few words. George Eustace, PPC Conservative Party. Oh, he's over there.
Yeah, I'm on the wrong side. Move. Okay, well, thanks very much, Jean. And I think this is actually a pretty good turnout that we've got. Of course, we'd always like to have more, but I think this is good. And we can make... we can hear you. Stand closer. Okay. Right, can you hear me now? Is that better? Okay. I don't think we've got a bad turnout here. I think this is a great start. And I think what I want to say, a lot of people always think that you can't change things, nothing can change. There's always some quangocracy somewhere that's going to second guess everything we want to do and tell us what to do. But actually, in the end, people power does work and people can make a difference. And I think that people are getting tired of being told what to do. They've had 12 years of being told what to do, and they want to change things. And people can change things if they're willing to try, and if they're willing to stand up and take a position on something. And I think that's why it's great that all of you have turned up here today to do that. Now, there's something else to bear in mind, and that's that we've got elections coming up. There are unitary elections for council coming up, and it's very important, I think, that all of you, as well as taking part in this march today, write to everyone who is standing and asking for your vote.
Right, well, let's look at it this way, shall we? 11,100 houses, another 44,000 people in the area, another 20,000 cars, and you can't get through Camborne on a Saturday morning now. What hope is there for us? Let's be united in this. I'm going to introduce now the PPC for the MK party, Loveday Jenkins.
Thank you for Jean and the committee for inviting us here today, but I think what I want to get across really is that I'm just an ordinary person, but I'm standing up for Cornwall, I'm standing up for this area, and every single person here can too. We don't have to be dictated to from an unelected regional assembly, an unelected regional planning authority. We don't have to take it. What we need to do is to make sure that we say what we want, that we get the sort of housing we need for our people. I have 2 teenage sons. I don't actually know how they're going to be able to afford to live in Cornwall in the future. I want a better future for Cornwall. I want a better future where our young people can live in Cornwall and can contribute to the future of Cornwall. It's quite ironic to listen to other people saying, well, you know, it's nothing to do with us, but actually, who set up the Regional Spatial Planning Committee in the first place? It was the Conservatives. Who continued it? It was the Labour Party. Who's let it carry on? It was the Lib Dems. We need to have a distinctly Cornish solution, and we need to make sure it happens. That's why I'm standing for Mebby and Kernow, and that's why I'm standing up for Cornwall. I want everyone here to feel that they can stand up for what they believe is right. We need housing in Cornwall. Yes, we do. We need local needs housing. We need housing for our local people. We need affordable housing. We need housing for rent and affordable to buy. But we're not going to get it by building masses and masses of housing and saying, oh, well, we've got 25% which is going to be available for the local people. We're not going to do it like that. We need to have our own rules, regulations, our own local housing market which is going to support. on you. Now, I wonder if I can get him to do this without making a goddamn noise.
Press that, dear. No, just press that. Don't press that. Trigger.
All I wanted to say was these houses, 82% are for migrants. 82% for migrants. Probably, supposedly English migrants. I don't know, but you know what that means. Hasn't been said, so I've just said it. Thank you.
You just love it, Geordie accent. Now, Councillor Cornwall, I know would like to have a word or two. So, oh, here he is.
I'd just like to say that this is not being built for the benefit of Camborne people. As the gentleman had just said, 82% of the people from outside Cornwall. This is just profit for greed. It has nothing to do with providing local housing whatsoever. I myself am fundamentally against it, and also against the undemocratic way in which it was put through and voted through. I had my vote recorded against it, and I am very glad that I was allowed to do that at the final process. It is totally wrong that your democratically elected representatives were not allowed to have a proper say in this. And I believe that these plans should be delivered from the ground up, not from the top down, which is what is happening. We have some of the most lovely countryside around Camborne going. I quite often love to walk in some of the areas, particularly in Camborne West, which are now destined, according to this plan, to be covered in concrete. I'm very pleased at the turnout here, and it's nice to see that people in Camborne really care about their town and their environment.
One thing I haven't heard mentioned is the support for all the people who are going to live in these houses. Doctors, surgeries, hospitals, dentists, the infrastructure won't be there. It takes a long time now to get into hospital down here. It'll take a damn sight longer if we have another 11,000 houses in this area.
It's very hard to make this a good day, and I think it has been. It was a bit disappointing. It was slow to start before we wanted to get anybody. But then all of a sudden, people started turning up, and I thought, here we go, get Camborne. So before we go, everybody, I think we should do it in a traditional way, which I've already done. Are you ready? I'll be